Hello, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus time travelers. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for being here. This is your 6-month eclipse reading. And the reason why I'm doing this as a 6-month reading is because we had the new moon in Aquarius on the 17th, which was a solar eclipse. And that'll go full circle to the full moon in Aquarius on July 29th. And then about a week later, there's this demarcation period of eclipse season ending with a solar eclipse in the new moon in Leo on August 12th. So let's see what comes out for you. Typically in an eclipse reading of this magnitude, we'll receive some type of information here about what is leaving your life, because when something energetically leaves your life, it means something new is coming in. But again, I didn't set any intentions other than that, so we'll see what comes out for you, Taurus. As the messages come through today, just take what fits, leave what doesn't, because if it's not your message, it simply means it's meant for someone else. And be sure to check out your other placements. If you don't know what they are, in the description box is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. With all of that said, now let's begin. Tapping into the Taurus collective now for Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the 6-month eclipse message here for Taurus? What do they need to know about eclipse season? One more shuffle here. Thank you. We're going to take 3 cards from this deck. You have Wolf Spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom, card number 67. You then have Giraffe Spirit, see the big picture, card number 29. And you have Stag Spirit, take the lead, card number 58. And at the bottom of the deck, we have Koi Fish Spirit, there is always enough. Okay. Let's see where we're going with this message here for Taurus. Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. I'm already starting to receive messages for you, Taurus. Okay, we are clarifying Wolf Spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom, card number 67. Giraffe Spirit, see the big picture, card number 29. Stag Spirit, take the lead, card number 58. Tell me more about this here for the Taurus collective. One more shuffle. Thank you. Taurus, we have the King of Cups. We have the 4 of Pentacles. And we have the 3 of Swords. You then have the Hermit. You have the King of Swords. And you have the 9 of Wands. At the bottom of the deck, Taurus, you have Justice. The Hermit is a card of wisdom. I think, Taurus, over the course of the next 6 months, you're going to see why a particular connection was in your life. I think you're going to understand the meaning. I think you're going to see the bigger picture. Even though there was some heartache that occurred in the connection, I feel like over the next 6 months, if you had any illusionment or doubt or like, well, why did it happen that way? Or why did that person do that? Or what was the reason for them to be in my life? I kind of feel like it's the unknowing. I'm not going to call it illusion. That was the wrong word. It's almost like I don't know why this happened or why this person behaved this way, or what was the purpose of them being in my life if, you know, the connection was going to fall away and they weren't going to be in my life permanently. There's the understanding. And that's what you'll have over the course of the next 6 months. So it looks like eclipse season is going to eclipse the, I don't know why that happened with that person. I think you're going to understand why they were in your life. Let's clarify this more here. We're using the After Tarot deck for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. We're clarifying King of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 3 of Swords, the Hermit, the King of Swords, and the 9 of Wands. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The King of Cups is clarified by the Tower. The 4 of Pentacles is clarified by the Devil. The 3 of Swords is clarified by the Knight of Wands. The Hermit is clarified by the 9 of Cups. The King of Swords is clarified by the 8 of Wands. And the 9 of Wands is clarified by the 5 of Wands. And at the bottom of the deck, Taurus, you have Fool. So Taurus, you have a new beginning here in your life. And I don't know if it's necessarily like a full new beginning in terms of like in your 3D world. This could be more like mentally or spiritually, because again, there's this aha epiphany moment of, now I understand why that person was in my life. And I'm going to clarify here for you, but I get the feeling that you had or have, because I don't know where you are in the Taurus timeline, you had or have someone in your life, and the intended purpose for the heartbreak that you incurred with this person was to get your eyes to open up and see something within yourself about some type of shadow within you. I don't want to call this necessarily with that Devil here. I don't want to necessarily call it a toxicity within you. I'm seeing it more like a shadow within you about maybe why you connect to certain people. Okay, let's see where we go with this message. King of Cups to the Tower. I feel like you're the King of Cups here, whether you're masculine or feminine. I think you had a lot of love or have. Again, I don't know where this person is, like if they're still in your life or not. I don't feel like by the end of the 6-month period, they're in your life. So for some of you, if this person is in your life, I think they are eclipsed out. And then there's the realization of what their intended purpose was in your life. And for others of you, they have already exited, but you're still grappling with, but why would the universe bring this person into my life if it wasn't going to be long-term? And again, I feel like this person's intended role was to show you some type of shadow within yourself. Tell me about the King of Cups energy, Taurus's energy here for the next 6 months. One more shuffle. Thank you. It has something to do with how you love. Four Cups is clarified by the, King of Cups is clarified by the Chariot, the Queen of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, we have the Magician. Let's clarify that Tower here. So this individual is someone who you saw as your equal. And again, it could be a romantic partner, it could be a business partner, but you're turning knowledge now into wisdom because we're clarifying this Wolf Spirit card. So I feel like you're finally putting it all together, or you will be putting it all together. Tell me about the Tower. It's like this aha epiphany moment. One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the World card. There's your lesson. And we have the Page of Pentacles, which I think, and bottom of the deck, you have the Empress. So Taurus, I think this is a romantic reading that I'm doing. But again, if you want to take this as a familial connection or a platonic connection with a friend, you certainly can take it that way. I'm seeing this as a Taurus who engaged in a romantic relationship. I'm going to use past tense because I do feel like by the time we get to August 12th with that new moon in Leo, I think you're starting that new chapter. We saw the Fool card. And I think this person is either out of your life or well on their way to exiting your life, okay? But the feeling here is this person was a teacher to you. And I don't think during the course of the connection, particularly when you were feeling this Three of Swords, that you saw that. I think you just saw that as this is an individual who's doing something to break my heart. They're abandoning me, or they left me behind, or they broke up with me. There was no clarity behind why this person did this. But I think what you're not seeing at this time, but you will be seeing over the course of the next 6 months, is that you were, I don't know how to say this, you were engaged in a romantic partnership with this person because it was providing you with stability, or at least with the appearance of stability, as opposed to being with this person because you're passionately in love with them and them with you. I hope this is making sense for one of you watching. And I'm not saying that there wasn't love there. It's not what I'm saying. But I think you became codependent on this person. And in the process of becoming codependent on them, you forgot your own autonomy. You forgot your own resiliency. You forgot that you are an empress or an emperor. It's like you attached your self-worth to this person. And so I think the lesson, or the reason why this person was in your life, was to teach you that the value of you resides within you. It doesn't come from another individual. It doesn't come from anything external. It doesn't come from another person. And for others of you, I think the purpose of this person in your life was to teach you what true love truly is, and to not stay in partnership or to connect with people because of, how we appear to the world, that we're making a lot of money, or, material possessions. So yeah, this was definitely, with that World card, a really hard lesson for you, Taurus, because I think at the end of the day, you loved this person. I think there was great affection here that you had for them. And I do think at some point in time, they had that for you as well. So I'm not trying to discount the feelings between the two of you. But again, somewhere along the line, it became toxic. And it became toxic because it no longer was about the love. It was no longer about the passion. It either became about the material possessions that we're, creating together, or the appearance that we were giving to the world. So it was no longer true to who you are. And in that respect, you were devaluing yourself, because what you truly desired was love and passion. And that, at some point in time, ceased to exist in that connection. And that should have been the moment when you exited. But for many of you, you stayed in it longer than you should have. Because again, you were tying your self-worth to being with this person or staying attached to what the two of you built or what the two of you could have built together. Again, I don't know if all of you were married to this person or not. So I like the Four of Pentacles to the Devil, because over the course of the next 6 months, you're going to see this from a bigger picture. The Four of Pentacles is, I was holding on to this person for all the wrong reasons, for some shadow aspect here within myself. And in the After Tarot deck, the two individuals, and I think this is more like you, the masculine and feminine energies within you, because we all embody both, are detached. Typically in the Devil card, we see two people attached to one another or the podium that the Devil presides over. But in the After Tarot deck, the chains are broken free. So not only do I think that you're breaking free from this individual, I think you're breaking free from the shadow that kept you attached to this person or kept you attached to people like this person. So I'm not going to clarify that because I think that's self-explanatory. We're looking at the bigger picture here. The Three of Swords to the Knight of Wands, you have to take the lead. I think in respect to this connection, you are taking the lead here. And I think the lead is you will be exiting the connection or finalizing it in some way. Tell me about the Three of Swords here for Taurus. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Three of Swords is clarified. Yeah, there we go. Nine of Pentacles. Becoming single, free, independent, autonomous. Seven of Swords and the Emperor. I think at some point in time, Emperor to the Empress, although they're two different decks, and this is what I find interesting, you were not an equal match. Although maybe at some point in time you thought you were. And I say that because you're both appearing in two different decks. This individual was a trickster energy. The Emperor to the Seven of Swords. So could have been someone who lied to you, cheated on you, used you, maybe for their own wealth or gain. Maybe because being with you bolstered their public appearance. And I think you're breaking the chains with this individual. And at the same time, understanding why you stayed in it for as long as you did. I think you're finding your self-worth, Taurus. Let me clarify that Knight of Wands. I think you're taking the inspired action. You're taking the lead on this. Tell me more about that Knight of Wands here for Taurus. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Knight of Wands is clarified by the Eight of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords, and the Four of Swords. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here, Taurus. It looks like you're doing a lot of inner work over the course of the next 6 months. You're going to heal this wound within you. And that Four of Swords, it's almost like you're understanding this. I feel like this is the new you, and this is the old you. And I think you're understanding this would be you looking at your old self and healing that shadow side of yourself that kept you attached to this person for so long, and where maybe in the past you weren't very confident to leave this person. In the Nine of Swords in the After Tarot deck, you are confident because you're using the Ace of Swords, this newfound truth, this newfound wisdom, to break free from the mental chains that kept you tied or stuck to this individual. This is rapid growth, and it's going to be uncomfortable for some of you, not for all of you, for some of you. But this is going to be rapid growth. You're going to see a shadow within yourself of why you stayed stuck or why you engaged with a person or, like I said, a particular type of person in your life. And some of you are doing the whole thing the next 6 months. You're going to realize it. You're going to break free. You're going to, have the wisdom and clarity. So it's a lot. Again, I don't know where you are on the timeline. So I'll say if you're a Taurus where you have already disconnected from this person, then in the course of the next 6 months is your aha epiphany moment. Now I understand why I was attracted to them or attached to them or stayed for as long as I did. And for others of you, you're going through the whole thing this 6 months. You're like, oh my God, this is why I'm attached. This is unhealthy. I'm breaking free from this person. And now I understand that their reason in my life was for me to find what true happiness is, because it, even if at some point in time resided in this connection, it no longer did. And I feel like you stayed longer than you should have. I want to clarify the King of Swords there to the Eight of Wands, because the King of Swords is your energy here. And this is you. And look, it could be a Gemini you're moving on from, or a Libra, or an Aquarius. That's possible also. But I'm getting more like once you get this clarity, because again, we're looking down the row here of see the bigger picture. So it's like once you spiritually get it in the Hermit energy, then logically your mind is like, yep, now I can move forward. Either I can move forward because now I understand why I stayed in it, or now I understand why I'm staying in it and I'm moving forward, moving on from this person. Tell me why the King of Swords energy is here. One more shuffle. Thank you. The Queen of Pentacles, which is you, whether you're masculine or feminine. The Four of Cups and the Strength card, bottom of the deck, the Star card. Yeah, I think you're now understanding this is why the connection didn't work or isn't working, and why I stayed in it for as long as I did, why I persevered, even though I was so unhappy. And again, it could just be this belief system of, maybe it's a familial belief system where you get married and you say, I do. And there's this ingrained belief in you that it's like, but we can't get a divorce. You know, it could be something like that for, you know, one of you watching, just using it as an example. And then over the course of the next 6 months, you're like, wait a minute, so what am I supposed to do? Spend the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of my life completely miserable because of a family belief that was indoctrinated in me? Like that would be, and I'm not saying that type of belief is toxic in nature, but staying in a connection that's like abusive or someone's cheating on you, you know what I mean? Emperor to the Seven of Swords is a horrible energy in terms of a committed partnership, you know, a committed partner. So it could be something like that where you're like, oh my God, I was engaging with that person or engaging with those types of people. Because maybe for some of you, this is a pattern like with several people that you've dated or you've been in connection with. And again, it's just, I think you're breaking free then from that belief of, no, I am going to get a divorce. Again, it's just an example, but it could be something like that for some of you. I just think there's this realization of I was holding on for all the wrong reasons. And it's a shadow within you while you were holding on. Tell me about the Eight of Wands, because then I see you moving forward. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Eight of Wands is clarified by the Sun. The Ace of Swords holding your Sword of Truth, Hierophant. Here you are. The bottom of the deck. I'm not saying that this is going to be a completely easy process for you, Taurus, but you getting absolute clarity and understanding why you stayed connected to this person, or like I said, these people, is really going to lead you into the Sun, which is a 10 of Cups and 10 of Pentacles. It is the happiest card in tarot. Where you were was the Four of Cups. Once you break free, like I said, either from the person and the mindset, or I should say, break free from the person or the pattern, or for others of you already broke free from the person, you're just going to break free from the pattern. You're going to be well on your way to true emotional contentment. Not bound, tied, or caged by other people's beliefs, or maybe by an old belief that you had. Nine of Wands. That Five of Wands to the Nine of Wands. When I see here, take the lead and you're moving in a new direction, this gives me the feeling of, I don't want to fight for this anymore because it no longer aligns to who I am. So I'm taking the lead, and I'm either, like I said, moving on from this person, or moving on from this way of thinking that I need to stay connected to this person. Or now it's like, now I understand why I was even with that person. Yeah, this person was a damn good teacher, albeit a hard one for you, Taurus, but it was for you to see your value and worth, and to not tie it to, like I said, an old belief system. World card again. Yeah. Big lesson here for you. Old belief system. It could be religious indoctrination, family beliefs. Tell me more about that Nine of Wands. One more shuffle. Thank you. Eight of Swords. Oh, Six of Swords. Taurus, this is gorgeous. Judgment. You're making the judgment call that belief pattern, or yeah, that belief that you had that kept you tied to this person for so long was a shadow aspect of yourself, not knowing your worth, or like I said, staking your identity or tying your identity to someone, either because of material possessions or length of time served. Again, that mentality of I can't break free, we have kids together, or we're married, or it goes against religious or family or societal beliefs. Or again, I don't want to shatter the illusion, right? Sometimes that Four of Pentacles to the Devil could be like, there's an illusion that we're a happy family and everything is great, or it's just a happy partnership. I think you're breaking free from, I really don't care what it looks like to other people. At the end of the day, I need to be happy. And I think you're having a little bit of appreciation. I'm not saying for what this person did to you. I think you're almost grateful that now you get to spend the rest of your life not attached to that shadow aspect of yourself. Because if you didn't see it, if you don't see this over the course of the next 6 months, which you will because it's your reading, but let's say this wasn't your reading, then you would have continued to stay engaged with that person or engaged with other people in the future, all out of that same toxic pattern within yourself. I'm going to call it the shadow side within yourself. So yeah, not only breaking free from the person here, but also the shadow that kept you tied or trapped to them or people like them. Five of Wands here. One more shuffle. Thank you. And I love in the After Tarot deck, the Five of Wands, there's no fighting. There's no more discord within you. King of Pentacles in the reverse. So maybe for some of you, this is a marital partner. Now in the reverse. Four of Cups, dumping out the cup, and Three of Cups, bottom of the deck, the Star card. So I see you moving away, either, like I said, from the person, or if you've already moved away from the person, you're going to walk away from that pattern completely. Four of Cups, you're dumping it out. It no longer defines what love is to you. Three of Cups, real celebration. I think you're going to celebrate yourself at the end of this. Like, I did it, and now I understand. We have the Star card, we have the Queen of Wands, and we have the Hierophant. Look at you, healing, now trusting your intuition. I'm getting this feeling even of a little glow up energy. So once you figure all of this out, like I said, for some of you, you're leaving this person. For others of you, you're leaving, you've already left this person, but this is just the, why were they in my life? That whole, I don't get it. I don't get why I stayed so long. You're gonna figure all of this out. You're gonna see the bigger picture. And you're gonna turn this now newfound knowledge into wisdom. Where you're headed in the future will be connections that are more aligned to you, healthier for you, and make you genuinely happy. And that you're engaging with, not out of obligation or, again, any type of beliefs tied to other people or your upbringing. You'll be engaging with people, particularly romantic partner or partners, in the future, where you're choosing them for all the right reasons, not for all the wrong reasons. Let's get you a couple oracle cards here, and we'll close it off with kippers. Can I get one oracle card here for Taurus? Thank you. We have awakening. Yeah, talk about having a spiritual awakening. Turning knowledge into wisdom. Realize your growth and changes and embrace your awakening. I think that's exactly what you're doing here. Bottom of the deck, anchor in self. Find your center within, remaining steadfast despite the external storms. Yeah, and like I said, I think that's specific for those of you where you are exiting this connection over the course of the next 6 months. Not all of you will be, because I have a group of you that at the end of the 6 month period, this person's no longer in your life. Either you have exited, you're in the process of exiting, or like I said, you will be doing it during this time. One more oracle card here, one more shuffle. Thank you. And for those but all three groups of you are having the awakening of, now I understand why that person was in my life. Ancient castle, fortify your defenses. Strength comes from within. Bottom of the deck, sacred grove. Seek wisdom in nature. The ancient trees hold secrets. So perhaps over the next 6 month period, what you want to do is get out in nature more. Or if it'll be too cold, depending on where you are in the world. I mean, I just purchased my person. I actually exchanged grounding shoes for one another. And so I'm able to wear them throughout the home, especially here. It's still winter time, so I can't really go outside for the walks and stuff. But it does keep me grounded and centered. Again, if you can't afford that, I'm not telling you that you have to buy that, but I would seek ways to connect with nature or spend time in nature. And like I said, if you're unable to do that, I would find other ways. Meditation. There's also something here about you. We saw that Empress card, and then we see the Hermit to the Nine of Cups, and then the Hierophant to the Queen of Wands. I think there's also something here about you'll start taking better care of yourself, whether that's in terms of nutrition, like your diet or exercise regimen. Yeah, once you have this awakening, you're going to start taking better care of yourself. Can we get 6 cards here for Taurus, please? You have toil and labor. The Lovers is in the reverse, and the Privileged Lady. Yeah, again, I don't want to keep reiterating the message, but false person here is at the bottom of the deck. So I think when you entered the connection, and even during it, at some point in time, you thought that this person was your equal, right? Emperor to the Empress. But as we saw, they came out in 2 separate decks. And so at some point in time, it's like the two of you were no longer aligned. You had drifted apart, but yet somehow you stayed together. And again, maybe it was for family or societal beliefs, but I think what you're realizing was this was a false partner to you, or at least that's what they ended up being. So that Lover's in the reverse, I think you are disengaging from this person. Thank you. Bottom of the deck, we have expectation. You have great fortune. You have journey, and you have mature woman. I think you're the mature woman, mature man here in your life, now connecting all the dots about why that played out the way it did, why you were maybe even attracted to them in the first place, why you stayed as long as you did, maybe why you stayed in the face of their deception or cheating on you or betrayal, whatever here took place. And again, if it's not one person, it could just be multiple lovers in your life. But I just see you connecting the dots and really focused on yourself. You're on a new path. You're on a new journey. Spiritually, you will be more mature at the end of this 6 month eclipse cycle, because like I said, you're connecting the dots and you're understanding all of this. And I've been using this deck here, and I almost want to say your future self has been expecting you. Like your higher self has been waiting for you to reach this conclusion or have this epiphany or have this realization. As I was saying for this deck, Taurus, I can't remember the name of it. I'm so sorry. A subscriber sent it to me last year. I used it in some of the private readings I was doing. I don't have time to do them anymore, but I don't think I've ever used it except for that Aries reading that I just did for the collective. So this will be an advice card here for you for the next 6 months. It may pertain to this reading. It may not. Maybe something entirely different Source wants you to think about or focus on. But can we get one card of advice here for the Taurus collective for the next 6 months? One more shuffle. Thank you. And that koi fish spirit, there's always enough. I get the feeling here it's like you are always enough. Like you don't need to be tied to someone for all the wrong reasons. You have I welcome. I embrace life as it comes, trusting each step on my path to fulfillment. I flow with ease, welcoming all experiences, even the challenging ones, knowing they serve my highest good. Everything unfolds for my greater benefit. Bottom of the deck, inner temple. I reconnect with my true self in sacred silence, finding peace in the inner temple of my soul. Here, I reflect on my life's lessons. That's exactly what you're doing here. Restoring my tranquility and trust in the universe. Bathed in this divine light, I embrace the value in every step of my new journey. That's what I have for you, Taurus. That is your 6-month eclipse reading. Thank you once again for being a time traveler. If you like this message, it resonates with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And until I read for you again, I wish you a lot of luck with this. Be gentle with yourself. And as always, I'm sending you light, love, and peace.